We're in Daniel chapter 6 today, and I'm going to start reading in verse 25. Then King Darius wrote, "To all peoples, nations, and languages that dwell in all the earth, peace be multiplied to you. I make a decree that in every dominion of my kingdom men must tremble and fear before the God of Daniel. For He is the living God, and steadfast forever. His kingdom is the one which shall not be destroyed, and His dominion shall endure to the end." There's a funny thing that happens in this passage that Christians ought to stop and consider. After witnessing the faith of Daniel and the reality of Daniel's God, King Darius of Media becomes a believer. And he's so excited by what's happened that he issues an urgent message to the entire empire. The Bible says that his royal message went to all peoples, nations, and languages that dwell in all the earth. It sounds a lot like the last day message that goes around the planet just before Jesus comes. In Revelation chapter 14, 3 angels or messengers go to every nation, tribe, tongue, and people, urging people to fear God and give glory to Him. The parallels are striking. But there's also a critical difference in the way it happens. While the last day angels plead with people to worship God, King Darius almost seems to be forcing the issue. He says, "I make a decree that in every dominion of my kingdom men must tremble and fear before the God of Daniel." Now, it's entirely possible that he's only urging his kingdom to do this, and that he has no intention of backing up his decree with legal consequence. But still, just for today, I want to focus on the word must. When you go to the book of Revelation, you find 3 critical chapters that are really the apex of the book of Revelation. It's chapters 12, 13, and 14. Chapter 12 explains how the struggle between good and evil began in this universe. Chapter 13 lays out the intents and purposes of the dragon's side. And chapter 14 shows us how God plans to wrap up His end of things before He brings history to a close. And while God has 3 angels urging people to come back to the worship of the Creator, and God outlines very clearly the natural consequences of walking away from Him, it's the dragon who puts the word must into worship. He brings 2 beasts into the world, one from the sea and the other from the land, and he insists that the whole world worship the beast or pay for it with their lives. God uses concerned persuasion, and the devil uses force. And so while the decree of Darius is a good thing, we really need to consider whether or not the legal enforcement of Christianity is appropriate. I know that biblical Christians are really concerned about the rapid erosion of morality in Western civilization, and rightfully so. But before we turn to national laws to enforce religious behavior, we ought to stop and think it through. Which side of the equation in this universe uses powerful persuasion, and which side uses legal enforcement? Naturally, I'm not talking about laws that draw safe boundaries around persons or their possessions, like laws against murder or stealing. I'm talking about laws that force people to comply with Christianity itself, like, say, the old laws we used to have that required people to attend church or quit working on Sunday. By all means, be a powerful witness, and let your voice be heard pleading for morality and a return to God. There's no question that is our biblical duty. But when you carefully compare the methods used by both sides of the great controversy between good and evil, you're going to discover which one God thinks is a better way to live.